pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The ESports Oval League driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The ESports Oval League driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The ESports Oval League with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The ESports Oval League driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The ESports Oval League driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The ESports Oval League with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, crown. Adrenaline's fire, lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission, the goal we all crave. Speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, where legends are made. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, where legends are made. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports Oval League with the best ways to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission, the goal we all crave. Speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire, lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission, the goal we all crave. Speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, where legends are made. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, where legends are made. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports oval league with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the sky. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the sky. So here's to the racers, the oval league's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are. Chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The esports oval league driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The esports oval league driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports oval league with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of me. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of me. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports Oval League with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor-thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split-second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of me. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of me. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports oval league with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the sky. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the oval league's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are. Chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise. Pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, where legends are made. The esports oval league driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, where legends are made. The esports oval league driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports oval league with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Flatout Racing Network's continued coverage of the 2025 season for the ESports Oval League's Grind Cup Series. Getting ready for our next to last race of the regular season. Playoffs are approaching, and we are road course racing here in Elkhart Lake, Michigan, as we get ready to go racing at Road America. I'm Seth Cole alongside of Scott Rankin. Scott, I think one of the biggest things we're going to be talking about here tonight, especially with the different criteria of this road course race this evening, is going to be execution, because you make a mistake, it's going to take an awfully long time to get that track position back.
Yeah, and it's very, very difficult to execute a pass at Road America as well, so not the easiest racetrack. A lot of dramas. I mean, you know, the biggest benefit of the sim is we get to drive in here and drive these things really, really hard, and there's no risk of injury. There's no risk of damaging a $1 million race car. You know, there's no risk of putting mechanics and crew chiefs out a night worth of trying to put the car back together. So, of course, when you dive into practice, that encourages you to push the limits. And I can tell you with confidence that I pushed those limits in practice. I pushed them early on. I had to really, really work on being patient, being consistent, being smooth. And this is a tricky one. This is a really, really tricky one. That new tire model on the road courses, it's proven difficult to handle.
45 laps of racing here this evening. We'll talk about the stages here in a moment, but maybe the biggest thing concerning those stages is we normally at most racetracks have guaranteed cautions that come out at the conclusion. That's not the case here. Only if we have a major on-track incident will we see a full course yellow. With that being said, and drivers not having the luxury of knowing that guaranteed caution is coming out, what do we see here in terms of aggressive level in the early going? Because this might be the closest everybody's going to be bunched up the entire night.
Well, there's a fair bit of field spread when we head to road courses, and I got to be honest, Elkhart Lake's not one of the ones that we see very, very often. When we go to places like Watkins Glen, when we go to the Roval, when we go to Sonoma even, drivers have driven that track, and they've driven that a fair bit because historically it's been on the schedule. This is one of those tracks that isn't on the schedule a whole heap. I know Xfinity's been here recently in the past, but the big thing is drivers' experience level with the conditions and what the car will do. This track is a 2 minute, it's a very, very long track. It's a 2 minute 9-second lap in qualifying trim, 2 minute 10 to 12 to 15 in race trim.
A little over 4 miles in length, 14 difficult corners, at least 2 or 3 that drivers seem to always single out as the trouble spots, and we'll keep an eye on those particular areas of the racetrack here this evening. As here we go, all Toyota front row, Rankin Dobbs will lead us to the green. We're racing at Road America.
Tricky run down to the first corner. You got to pull it up accurately. You got to bang it back down through the gears. Tires are cold, Seth. Pulling it up accurately for turn 1. Very difficult on cold tires.
Oh, we were almost 3 wide going into that corner. Rylan Faccianato wide in the entrance of the right-hand turn 1. As he thought about 3 wide with Jeffrey Kleinsma, Ryan Catalano, tough enough to go through there double wide, let alone 3 abreast.
And the cars are very loose on the cold tires as well, crawling around in front and rear end. A lot of brake locking early on in this one as the tires come up to temperature. This is the coldest these drivers will be driving these race cars at racing speed all night long.
Here comes one of those tough corners we were talking about. This is turn number 5, known as the Moraine Sweep. You see Kleinsma a little wide out there into that runoff area. Looks like he was able to gather it back up, but will lose a couple of positions, falls from 3rd back to 6th.
Yeah. So again, mistake very, very early on. That was one of the big ones I pegged. I had a lot of problems pulling the car up there, particularly on cold tires. And I was more worried about just pulling the car up accurately on lap 1. And the reason for that is exactly what happened to Kleinsma there. It's very, very easy to go too deep.
Round the carousel here. This is 9 into 10. We're heading into the right-hand crook of turn 11 and down the other straightaway, aside from the front straightaway. It's not exactly straight, but it is a very fast section of the racetrack, known as Kettle Bottoms, in preparation for the second big trouble spot of this racetrack, the heavy braking zone turn number 12, Canada Corner.
Yeah, Canada Corner is a classic race car corner, a sports car corner as well. Great opportunity to get down the inside of somebody on the inside to Canada Corner, but very, very easy to run wide. A lot of gravel on the outside, but if you're in very, very deep, that gravel ain't going to do very much at all. So You got to be nice and accurate with it. And again, it's the heavy braking zones this car doesn't necessarily like. Rotating on all of those front tires, getting the car pulled up accurately, very, very difficult to do on cold tires. But with the length of the racetrack, one of the things we've seen from Watkins Glen and Sonoma is that it takes quite a few laps to get some heat, get some temperature into those tires. Well, longer racetrack Road America, they're up a lot sooner because we actually got a lot more running on them.
Faccianato going to make a pass there on Patrick McQuaid up ahead of them. Pretty good battle going on for 5th. That's Hubka trying to hold off Matt Davies and Christian Ruse. Something you mentioned was the word gravel. We just saw it right there as the drivers were making their way up the hill in preparation for turns 2 and 3. The debris that is brought onto the racetrack, I saw a ton of it in practice. We even saw some of it laying up there as you drivers came around for the first lap of this race up the top of the hill there from 6 into 7. How much is that going to affect these cars, especially in terms of those rear tires? How much spinning are they going to be doing?
Well, it's actually more understeer than it is oversteer because the fronts are going to hit it first. They'll actually clear out most of the gravel by the time the rears get there. So the fronts will actually do a lot of the work, but the big issue comes with actually trying to pull the car up for the corners. When you go into the corner, you'll get a orange and yellow strapped flag, which is the debris flag, sort of let the drivers know. But occasionally, if the debris is not at the level where it warrants the flag, they won't fly it. But that sort of lets drivers know, hey, conditions in the next corner are not going to be optimal. And pulling the car up, you may need to brake a little earlier. Good racing going on here.
It's Hubka looking back to Matt Davies. Rylan Faccianato. Christian Ruse was in this battle, but we saw him have a moment there as he completely overcooked turn 5 and then locked up the brakes up the hill for turn 6. He's now dropped back to the 9th position, just trying to tuck in line, get into a rhythm here, and that's another thing that road courses are well known for, and maybe this one more than any of them. It seems like of all road courses, this is a difficult one to get into a rhythm because what the car feels like in approaching, like in this case, Canada Corner on lap 1 is going to be completely different from what it feels like even as soon as lap 3.
Yeah, lap 2, even the grip level's so much more up there and it just gives you confidence. And then the tires start to fail away from you after that. So it's not as simple as just get yourself into a rhythm because you've got to build yourself into the race. And you can take a lot of risks early and do things with the car that you necessarily shouldn't be doing.
Alan Dobbs now with a move for the lead here, heading into the straight that would head for that Moraine sweep turn 5. Near contact there. We saw moments ago Chris Hubka have a problem with Canada Corner. Out into that gravel trap, and you just saw all the gravel that he laid down as, of course, these cars have that diffuser underneath, and that's just going to drag the gravel out, leave a trail behind them as they re-enter onto the racing surface. Great battle here. Look at those rotors glowing on these front tires as they have to woe the thing down. Needless to say, maybe the heaviest, the slowest braking zone here at this racetrack, maybe even slower than Canada Corner.
Yeah, up the hill is very, very difficult to get the car pulled up because it's off camber.
Ryan Catalano's got a front row seat of this battle for the lead. Rankin gonna hold off Dobbs for the moment. Dobbs tries to stay alongside of that right rear quarter panel. They'll now take this into the carousel, still door to door, wheel to wheel. Dobbs with that inside line advantage, but Rankin looking to get back to the throttle here off of the corner. Dobbs now clears for the spot. They'll take this battle into Kettle Bottoms. It may end up being another move maybe down here into Canada Corner.
That all came because I was just trying to do some fuel saving under turn 1. Carried the clutch too deep. Did some numbers on the stages, and the stage comes at the end of lap 12 and lap 24. We have 13 laps of gas, but we had to do a formation lap. That sacrificed some of that gas. Now Dobbs is loose.
Maybe some of that gravel. Something I noticed was, especially when drivers get off the course over there in Canada Corner, they'll carry that debris all the way over here into turns 13 and 14. It leaves a very lengthy trail.
It does, and it's very heavy right at the start where they feed back on, so if they feed back onto the racing line, particularly if it's off the outside of a corner, it's very difficult.
on board here with Scott in the second position, looking ahead here at Dobbs. Keep an eye on the bottom right of your screen. Look at all the work that has to be done, the upshifting and downshifting at this racetrack. Long straightaways, heavy braking zones, looking for that lower gear for those rear tires to grip, give you a good exit off of the corner. A lot of work that goes into making even just one lap here at Road America. You could hear right there, you could hear the gravel underneath the diffuser, underneath the wheels. Exiting out of turn 5 up into turn 6.
A lot of mind games that go on in this sort of stuff as well, Seth. Just sort of make him think about me shoving the nose of the car, so then he brakes a little bit deep. If he misses the corner, there's an opportunity to get him back. So it's just make yourself as big as you possibly can. Mind games in road course racing are huge. Make them think that you're going to go for a move. You don't necessarily have to pull the trigger, but it might open up an opportunity to get it done on the exit.
Yeah, make them look more in the rearview mirror than out the windshield, maybe miss a braking zone.
Yeah. And once that's missed, that's the job done, basically. So, huge advantage by doing that, just moving around.
Something very different as opposed to Watkins Glen and Sonoma, a couple of road courses we've been at previously. You notice these rumble strips, they're not nearly the type of curbing that we've seen at those other road courses. A little bit more flat, a little bit more maybe parallel to the racing surface itself. How much do you lean on the curbing here, those rumble strips, or how much are they just basically visual guidelines?
They're a big flat surface, so when you get an additional track extension like that, I mean, Watkins Glen is the perfect example coming off the carousel at Watkins Glen. Look at how much space the drivers use there. It's much the same here. Curbs are very flat, high grip surface here, so they're perfect for using. For extending the track width. You extend the track width just a little bit, you can carry more speed, brake a little bit deeper, pick up the throttle a little bit earlier. So you want to use them as much as possible.
Close battle for the race lead, potentially the stage victory. Close battle back here. This is for the 8th position. Only 11 drivers took the green flag here tonight. So the field quite spread out at this point in time, but you do have Christian Ruse about half a second back to Chris Hubka, another half second, maybe 0.6 of a second from Hubka back to Chris Roberge. Mentioned this is the next to last race of the regular season. A lot of drivers trying to make a last-ditch effort to secure or move themselves into a playoff position. Chris Hubka is an interesting one because I believe coming into this weekend he was projected below the cut line. We saw he had to take a provisional last week at Nashville Super Speedway. He was the first car outside of the cut line when we went to Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago. If he's able to bring it home, at least with a solid run here this evening, depending on if there's some other drivers ahead of him in points that maybe didn't take the green flag tonight, could be a huge net gain for him with Daytona looming next week.
Yeah, huge positive. The number of drivers that are looking to take provisional results here tonight. Road America is a tough course, so I don't blame them for it. But just being out here and turning laps, there was a lot of discussion about whether or not I think the Whiteheads actually might be away and doing some spectating of racing or just taking a week off at the same time. Perfect example.
Yeah, Trey coming off that victory, first of the season for him last week at Nashville Super Speedway. Just kind of running down the list here of other drivers inside of the playoff picture that did not take the green flag here tonight as well. Noah Jackson, Dalton McKinney, Peyton Holland, Mark Gonzalez, Matt Mettler not in the field as well, Brandon Cooper. So we'll more than likely see most, if not all of them, make the return next week in the regular season finale when we go back to the place that started it all, the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. Big wild card race to cap off the regular season and set the 16 drivers that will be battling for this season's playoffs.
One thing to worthwhile talking about, Seth, is that rear tires aren't wearing as much as the front tires here tonight. We're doing a lot more wear on the fronts, but the rears are certainly getting hot. So
with that being said, does that mean more pressure on the entry to the corner than there is off the corner then?
A little bit of both, because what's going to happen is with the rears hot, they're going to swing around aggressively in the mid-corner. And you can just see from Alan Dobbs, he's trying to get to the gas there, and the rear end's not compliant. And not working with him in the way that he wants, necessarily. So he's having to do more work to try and be patient with the throttle. But what that also does is maybe you'll charge the corner entry a little bit more, but you've actually got to back everything up and be a lot more balanced, be a lot more patient with all the controls.
Right there in your camera shot. The last two drivers to take checkered flags at the last road courses ran. Scott Rankin most recently back in mid-June at Sonoma. Alan Dobbs back at Watkins Glen International. That was back in late April. The only other road course winner was back at the Chicago Street Course, where we saw Kyle Holden go to victory lane. This is the last road course stop of the regular season. There is one more road course race to be run. That's in the playoffs, when we'll be at the Charlotte Roval.
That's a challenging circuit on this new tire model. Expect to see a lot of cars in the fence on that occasion. And the reason for that is the tire model's a lot lower grip, which I guess it should be. I think the biggest thing is we've been sort of blessed with the tire model with a lot of grip on it. But these cars shuffle around and move around on the racetrack, and the latest tire model certainly allows for that on the road courses. If these cars felt like they did on the road courses at the speedways, we'd have a great car. I think we'd have something quite true to life. A lot of that is down to the narrow sidewalls. You actually see, if you ever see Formula 1 cars, they have a very large, very squishy tire, very similar to Xfinity. And what happens with those cars is they end up using the tire as an extra part of the suspension, because the tire itself... Oh, there's an incident in turn 1, sorry, my apologies. I think it was Kleinsma. Might have outbroken himself into turn 1.
Looks like you are correct. Drop back, take a quick look and see what exactly happened to him. I was going to say, maybe I jinxed it by thinking that, you know, we've seen a couple of drivers that have had near off-course moments or maybe overcooked it into a corner, but for the most part been able to keep it on the racing surface. Here's a look at Kleinsma. Wow, that thing just never wound up. Fortunately, he got it slowed before it got to the tire barriers there. That gravel trap doing its job, slowing the momentum, keeps him alive to be running in the 4th position. That could have been day over right there.
Yeah. Very, very easy to do as well. Missing braking markers. But this is a busy track on the wheel, on the pedals, because it's correcting little slides. Biggest thing is, they compare it a lot to GT3s. GT3s have got bigger brake discs, they've got a little bit better grip, and they've got driver supports. We got no driver aids. This is all manual. If you pinch a tire, there's not an ABS system that's going to kick in and save you from that. You slide a tire with the throttle. There's not a throttle traction control system that's going to kick in and save you. You got to do that all yourself.
So it's interesting.
And the brake discs are tiny.
It was interesting you brought up the whole scenario as far as the stages here. Stage 1 completion of lap 12, stage 2 completion of lap 24, leaving us 21 laps to run to the finish. I mean, obviously, it seems a little cut and dry, as you alluded to, with that formation lap. Going to have to maybe save a little bit to get to the conclusion of stage 1 here. Stage 2, more than likely, not going to be much of a problem. But then, looking ahead there towards stage 3, are you using these 2 first stages to get a feeling of, you know, is it worth maybe trying an undercut in stage 3 or running long? Or do you already have a feeling in the car of already knowing what that strategy is going to be once we get to the final stage?
You definitely already know what you're doing in terms of strategy. And the reason that I say that is it's set up by how you run the first 2 stages, basically. Stage 3 is a one-stopper. There will be one stop in stage 3, but the pit stop in the first 2 stages is right at the cutoff line. So, for example, right here, if I go 1 lap longer than Alan Dobbs, he will have to slow to pit lane speed before he crosses the start-finish line. I'll take the stage win. So you have to make it lap 13 to get the stage points. But once you do that on the first run, you can run 12 laps the rest of the race, basically. So, little quirk, because the pit lane entry is before the start-finish line. Stage points get measured at that line.
This battle continues for the race lead. It's the closest battle on the racetrack right now. But we do have some battles in close proximity to each other. Patrick McQuaid currently holding down the 5th position. Christian Ruse trying to close up on him after having those issues in the first couple of laps. Not that far behind Chris Roberge. You also have a battle back for the 10th position going on here. Matt Davies dropped back to last car in the field, but he's only about 3 car lengths off the back bumper of Jonathan Cogswell, who runs well, I was going to say a little wide. That's a little more than a little. Off of turn number 5, and Davies will look to drivers left as they make their way up the hill. He'll make the pass in turn 6.
So now let's head down. Press on. You make a mistake, how do you recover? How do you improve yourself? How do you not make that mistake again?
Wade looking back to Ruse as they head for Canada Corner. Good recovery here for Christian Ruse. He was up in the 5th position, I believe, when he had his moment over in turn 5. Drifted back to 7th. Has now made up one of those spots and looking to pick up yet another position against Patrick McQuaid. Roberge just back there, about maybe 6 car lengths off of this battle, then another 4 or 5 car lengths back to Chris Hubka. Quartet of Chevrolets currently from 4th, make that 5th, back to 8th. Cruz will show the nose down here into turn 1. Wasn't close enough to make a move, but to your point, you know, show the nose, draw the attention of the driver in front of you, and maybe catch them messing up that corner, take advantage.
Pretty much. Let's just shadow them, put them under pressure. We saw it back at Watkins Glen when Alan Dobbs got the lead off Mark Gonzalez. It was pretty much the same thing. Be there, be consistent, apply pressure. If you're not close enough, consistently apply the pressure, you won't be able to capitalize the mistake when it happens, and it's just patience as well.
Lead is exchanged hands. Scott Rankin back to the point. That good Charlotte Toyota. Saw it debut last week at Nashville Super Speedway. Scott was the one that was on the injured list at that point in time. Good to see him back behind the wheel of the race car here tonight. Last week we saw Matthew Rodriguez doing the driving duties at Nashville Super Speedway. We want to send our best wishes to him as he's been undergoing some health issues here in the last week.
Yeah, and to be fair, I'm still on the injured list. I'm just trying to protect my right shoulder as much as physically possible. Right-hand turning track, you get a lot of opportunity to do that though, so I'm just sort of taking my right arm off the wheel at every opportunity. If it starts to get stiff, it starts to get sore, I'll have to end up pulling over. But race car drivers never want to do that.
I didn't even think about that. There's only, what, about 3 left-hand turns here at this racetrack? I didn't even consider the fact that for the most part, majority of the corners are right-hand turns.
Yeah. Also means the left-hand side tires get a working over here.
A few laps away from when Stage 1 will conclude. Again, as we mentioned, we run through those stages and we remain green. There will be no caution flags that wave here at the conclusion of laps 12 and lap 24 as Dobbs, big time overdrive there, down the moraine sweep into turn 5. Shallow entry there and it cost him.
Yeah, he just missed his braking marker. Car performs really differently. Braking performance at the front end of the car, very different. And the dirty air too.
I mean, specifically down there in turn 5, over in Canada Corner, I mean, even right there, going up the hill and taking that near 90-degree left-hand turn in 8, you can see those front tires, the rotors glowing. Reminds me of a short track.
Yeah.
I mean, this is daytime conditions, and you can see those things glowing bright orange.
That's the amount of heat that's going through them. But the big thing is, tires are starting to wear as well. That is a lot more of a concern than you think, Seth. And I think Dobbs was driving quite hard to stay ahead of me. So I just, again, put pressure to him. All right, you want the lead? I made a mistake. You got the lead? Good on you. All right. How do I get this back? Well, it's very, very difficult to follow. Dirty air at a road course. The speeds are higher on the ovals, but the dirty air at the road course is more consistent because you need the grip a lot more. You're not trying to make as much of an advantage of the draft. Okay, how do I set this up? How do I challenge him? Where do I position the car? And again, like I said, just constantly harassing him. Don't ever give him a break whereby he's too far out ahead. And the other big factor was the fuel. I had a fuel number to hit. I got 3 laps of gas right now. There are 2 laps to the end of the stage. I have to make the end of the stage on the fuel.
You know, we were on board with you, just kind of watching the gearing, the upshifting, the downshifting. Add into that everything you're talking about here. You got to race the driver, you got to race your own race car, and then you got to race the racetrack. Like, that is a lot of stuff that you have to worry about for over 4 miles, and that's just in completing 1 lap. Then you're being asked to do it over and over again for 45 potential green flag laps.
And I actually made a mistake talking to you on the run down to turn number 1. I missed my braking markers because I was focused on the point that I'm trying to make. So, you know, little distractions. I was commentating Australian Pro V8 Supercars last night, and was talking to one of the team managers, and he just said, look, we had a new guy that wanted to come and work with us. He wanted to talk about fuel strategies and race strategies and the options, and the guy's got some IRL karting, IRL racing experience, so he's a huge resource to add to our team. And last night, just a little bit too much chatter, he subtracted from the driver's concentration, so that is a big, big factor.
Well, Dobbs has lost a lot of ground here in the last couple of laps. Currently now a little more than 3 seconds back. The field is majorly spread out. About the closest anybody is for position would be Robert's back to Hubka, and that's only about 1.5 seconds in distance. Everything else 2 seconds plus from one position to the other. And more than likely, with the upcoming and pending green flag pit stops, we're going to see these gaps increase even more.
So it's going to be, what, 3 stops tonight?
Believe so, yep.
So 45 divided by 4, because 3 stops effectively splits the race into 4 equal portions, is what we're considering here. So it's about 11 laps, 11 and a half laps. But the big thing is you can run 13 on gas. So, you know, where can you run that car and where can you run it to? What's the best way to get this racetrack connected in terms of the strategy? Well, 11 laps in gives you 4 even stints and you'll run 12 laps on that last one. But it does mean that you don't quite connect the dots in the first stage. So, you've got to run at 12 or 13, but then you've got a shorten run in the last stage. So, realistically, if we're pitting at the end of lap 25, we've got 20 laps to do 2 10-lap runs to bring us to the conclusion.
Those valuable stage points that are handed out at the conclusion. Oh, trouble there in 5 for the leader. It's going to allow Dobbs to close the gap up, but you look at drivers down around that bubble spot, like Matt Davies, Jeffrey Kleinsma, Rylan Faccianato. Big opportunity here if they can make up enough of the ground here, save enough of the fuel to get to the conclusion of this stage, and net some very valuable stage points could help them in either maintaining above the cut line or below, or moving from below to above the cut line. Roberge and Faccianato, if I'm not mistaken, are currently 2 drivers, the top 2 drivers, below the playoff cut line. Again, that's not official though. We were not able to have the calculations of Nashville Superspeedway last week on the point standings, so right now just kind of basing it off of Indianapolis, but a lot could have changed after last week at the concrete mile and a third of what went down there as to what the scenarios currently look like coming into Road America.
Well, the big thing is, heading into Daytona next week, it is 75% race participation is required. 25 races on the calendar to get to that point means you must compete in 19. If I race every race to the end, including Nashville last week with the injured list, was able to take a provisional, get a medical, sort of exemption on that one. That only gets me to 18, so I'm not eligible. So take me out. Mark Gonzalez must show up next week to be eligible after missing out on tonight, unless he has taken a provisional here tonight.
Lap 13 on the board, so that was the completion of stage 1. Scott Rankin going to pick up another stage victory. That's his 3rd on the season. Dobbs will get 9 stage points as he crosses the line in 2nd. It's like Ryan Catalano Gonna try and cross the stripe. He will on pit road in the 3rd position. So he'll get himself 8 stage points, plus make a pit stop right here at the conclusion of the stage. Jeffrey Kleinsma, Chris Roberge gonna be the top 5. Then Facinato, Hubka, Ruse, McQuaid, and Cogswell are the drivers that are going to get the stage points here at the conclusion of stage 1.
And it is a pit lane you can very easily speed onto, Seth, as well. 45-mile-an-hour pit lane speed limit here.
Not only that, you've got that very lengthy uphill climb before you even get up there to the commitment line with the access road off the final corner. Looks like Jeffrey Kleinsma, Chris Hubka, Chris Ruse, they've all come to pit road here as well, drawing to the close of stage 1.
A little bit of discussion. There's no yellow at the stage caution as well. Rylan Facinato was looking for one.
It was put in the race information that unless there was a track blocker, there would be no cautions here tonight, not even for stage conclusions.
You know, race car drivers, they're not good readers.
Nah. Just kind of keeping an eye on some of these areas of the racetrack that I was noticing during practice. So watching Ryan Catalano make his way through 8 and 9, that little straight in between that left-hander to the sweeping right-hander was an area that I saw a lot of that gravel lane in practice. It looks like there is some there, but not nearly to the degree that I saw back during the practice session. Biggest area where I'm seeing a lot of that gravel laying is off of the Moraine sweep in turn 5. Even Canada Corner seemed to have cleaned up a little bit after we had a couple of drivers off track, as there's your top 2 on pit lane, pulling into those first 2 pit stalls. 25 seconds back is Ryan Catalano, who's already been to pit road. See if he's able to close up any type of distance here on these 2, as he's been a distant 3rd for most of the first 13-14 laps of this race. Yeah, don't even see his car cresting the hill here as the leaders make their way into turn 1. Pretty close on those pit stops. Slight advantage to the 61 team in terms of the amount of time spent in the pit box, but those 2 tenths that he gained, he lost to Alan Dobbs in terms of the amount of total time on pit lane. So dead even amount of time for both drivers.
I don't think Alan took tires there. So he's going to probably just dive it to the inside of me right here. Whereas I've got to go through a tire warm-up phase that he doesn't have to go through. Like, it's diabolical for the amount of grip I have right now. Give it him. But what's going to happen is that, again, I can just be smooth and consistent. I got fresh rubber. And by the way, the longest run I did in practice was 8 laps, so I've already ticked that off. But the big thing was, I was looking at tire wear and the differences there. In practice, a lot of right front locking because I was having a lot of problems with over pushing my braking markers just a little bit. Right front tire in all the right turns is actually the unloaded tire. So as soon as you start adding cornering into it, it becomes unloaded, less weight on it, easier to pinch the brake. And there's a 6% difference in my right front tire wear between right front locking and a little right front locking.
Let's go back to your point, rewatch the pit stops here and see if indeed Alan Dobbs went with no tires. Looks like both jacked up on the left side. And do they both go around to the right? Yes, they do. So it was 4 tire stops for both drivers.
He's just better at fire off on the cold tires. I'm just not taking any risks. I think it's the biggest thing.
So stage 2 will be at the completion of lap 24, about 10 laps from now, leaving drivers with 21 laps in the 3rd and final stage. Looks like most everyone has come to pit road. We do have a couple of drivers that have extended stays on pit lane. Jonathan Cogswell just now being released. Patrick
Damage or
McQuaid, very
speeding?
lengthy stay there, and same for Matt Davies.
That'll be speeding, I think, for those guys.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any damage, at least not on the left side of either of those drivers. I think you would be correct. More than likely a speeding penalty for both of those drivers. Costly mistake here. You can lose track position on the racing surface. You can lose it on pit road. Is this battle back on here for the race lead? Rankin had it going into 5. Dobbs takes it back up the hill into 6.
Yeah, just patience. Harass him. A few mistakes in the first run. Stuff we got to work on, stuff we got to clean up.
It's like with the lengthy pit stops for both, well, for all 3 drivers, Cogswell, Davies, and McQuaid. They have fallen a lap down to the race leaders. McQuaid's still sitting on pit road, so this may be more than just a speeding penalty. He's been in his stall for nearing 3 minutes, though as I said, I didn't see any visible damage on the left side of the race car. We couldn't get a look at the right side. Not sure what there would be, him spending that long amount of time on pit road. Driver that really gained on that cycle of pit stops was Chris Roberge. Roberge was 7th before the pit stops began, and he was able to leapfrog both Chris Hupka and Christian Ruse. Now finds himself up in the top 5. Again, as mentioned, one of those drivers that projected unofficially, I believe, below the cut line for the playoffs coming into this race. There would be the other one, Rylan Faccianato, who right now is in the 8th position. He's the last car on the lead lap, and right now is running roughly about 30 seconds ahead of the race leaders.
Yeah, so lap traffic is going to be a problem here at some point. I say problem. That's you guys. Those are guys out there just having fun. At the end of the day,
we saw lap traffic be a bit of an issue at our last road course stop at Sonoma. Obviously, this racetrack a lot bigger, takes a lot more time to complete a lap around, more corners. It's like McQuaid's night is complete, as he's going to be scored 11th in the finishing results here tonight. McQuaid came into this race with 10 top 5s, 18 top 10s. That's most of any driver this season. 4th in the point standings. We've dubbed him Mr. Consistency. And I'll have to double check. I don't know if I can get the statistics on this, but this might be his first DNF of the season. I believe he's run just about all the laps every single week. His worst finish on the season was 25th. That was back at Talladega Super Speedway. And he did finish out of the race in that one, so I believe this will be only his 2nd DNF on the season.
but he's also run enough laps to score points today. And might have even gotten points in that first stage as well.
I believe he did get stage points. Yep.
So that's critical. This is difficult, I tell you.
Down the hill into 5. Battle of the outbreaks. Sideline advantage up the hill to 6. Rankin will clear for the spot. Dobbs will look for the crossover. Can't do it. Rankin will go back to the point. About the 5th or 6th lead change we've had so far in this race. 2 drivers that start on the front row, past 2 road course winners duking it out here. Rankin looking for his 2nd win on the season. Dobbs looking for his 8th. Do have a bit of a battle potentially heating up for the 6th position. It's Christian Ruse trying to draw a bead on Chris Hubka. Hubka having to deal with some traffic ahead of him. That's the lap machine of Matt Davies. About 1.1, 1.2 seconds from the 5 back to the 14. There you see Ruse back there with the bear tooth scheme that he had in last week's movie-themed race at Nashville Superspeedway. Ruse comfortably in the playoffs through points as he sits 6th in the standings, 4 top 5s, 12 top 10s on the season. And he closed up a lot of ground second half of this course. It was about 1.2 seconds when they exited out of turn 2. They come out of Canada corner and he's closed it up now to about 0.8 of a second.
And here comes the challenge. You're caught in now. How do you do it?
Saw Ruse as high up as 5th place. Right now, this is the battle for 6th. Ooh, almost a little wide there through Kettle Bottoms for Chris Hubka. Almost got those left sides a little extended past the rumble strips. Down into Canada corner. Rue's going to close on a ton of ground there again. Maybe a little conservative through that section of the course for Chris Hubka. We saw him get off course through Canada corner in the early going of this race. So it might be a little bit more gingerly traversing his way through that area. Whereas Christian Ruse able to be a little bit more aggressive, and that's where he makes up a ton of his time.
And that's the challenge. The road course racing as well is picking the traffic up. The traffic's slower for a reason. But where is it and how much is it as you catch them is very, very difficult to pass. At the end of the day, lap traffic's trying to do the right thing. They do want to generally jump out of the way.
To your point, Matt Davies right there, a little wide. Off the right-hand turn 1, out into the grass and out of the way of these 2. As we watch the gear Christian Ruse has to cycle through as he tries to close up on the back bumper of that Crawford Chevrolet Camaro. Gonna show the nose down here into the Moraine sweep to the inside. Ooh, little play with the wheel there as the rear tires not gaining a whole lot of grip. Completes the pass as he turns up the hill and heads for turn 6. Move Christian Ruse now up into the 6th position. So he'll now try and see if he can close up on Chris Roberge, who's about 3 seconds up ahead of him. There he is, right out the windshield.
Great little battle pack going on there, 5th, 6th, and 7th. They're only one mistake away from really being on top of each other.
Yeah, while we've had that good battle for the lead, the good battle, as you said back there, around the 5th position, give a shout out to some of these other drivers here that are, I can't call them riding, they just don't have anybody to battle with right now, but holding down some good spots inside of the top 5. Ryan Catalano coming into this race 11th in overall points, looking for only his 2nd top 5 on the season. He was strong in practice as well, turned some really good consistent lap times, following that up here in races. He's holding down the final spot on the podium. And Jeff Kleinsman, we saw have that moment off of turn 1 as he slid all the way out nearly to the tire barrier The gravel woed him up enough that he didn't sustain any damage, he didn't lose any positions in the process, and still maintains in the 4th spot. I don't want to jinx either of these drivers. Don't want to hit them with the commentator's curse.
Because you're good at that, you know.
I know. They're 11th and 12th overall in the standings coming into this race. For Ryan Catalano, his previous top 5 finish was a 5th back at Worldwide Technology Raceway. So he is looking for his best finish of the season as Dobbs around from the 2nd spot right in front of Rylan Catalano. Rylan Faccianato, I should say. I was thinking of Catalano as I was talking about him there. He's en route to his best finish of the season if he can hold down 3rd place. For Jeffrey Kleinsma, he's en route for his first top 5 on the season if he can maintain where he is at. See if we can see what happened to Alan Dobbs. This was down off the final corner, turn 14. Thing just snapped around on him. Faccianato got off course there as well on the outer portion of the final turn.
And Faccianato was actually trying to get out of his way and do the right thing as well. And remember how I was saying about you just sometimes can't read the traffic because you come up on them. And it's no offense to the traffic, it's just the speed differential between good road course drivers and road course drivers that are, you know, still finding their way in things. They don't feel comfortable in these things is quite massive. And generally, the better road course drivers are right on the limit in terms of braking. They don't really have another gear they can go to unless they're driving fractionally under the limit. And with the traffic, that's one of the things you got to do is you got to, as you're coming up to them, you got to fractionally drive it under the limit so you've got room. And I just think Dobbs was just in too hot, trying to get back to the throttle too quickly.
I mean, Faccianato got out of the way. He nearly put himself in the grass to get out of the way.
Remember, you said a very, very important word earlier, rhythm. And Dobbs' rhythm into that final corner would have been broken because he had to move to a different area of the racetrack.
Able to gather it back up and keep going, but is lost now over 10 seconds to the race lead. That's the furthest that he has dropped from this battle between himself and Rankin. I believe prior to that, the furthest gap was about 4 seconds, and he made that up on the pit stop at the conclusion of stage 1, which, speaking of stages, we are approaching the end of stage 2. Lap 20 completed, lap 21 on the board. Lap 24's completion is when the stage points will be handed out for the 2nd stage, and then these drivers will prepare for the final 21 laps in the 3rd and final stage of the night.
Worthwhile going back and having a look at turn 1. I was just, as I come through the exit, the replay is just a couple seconds behind of what I'm actually experiencing in the sim. But the amount of wheel work I had, a little bit of a bubble, a little bit of a mistake. From the external of the race car, it looked tiny. There was next to nothing that went on, but you should see the wheel work that went on in the sim.
Here's a look at it. You know,
And you got to catch it quickly.
Not only could I see the wheel motion, I could hear the high-pitched squeal of the tires there.
And one of the biggest things that sim drivers, the IRL drivers say about the sim is you lose that butt feel. You lose a sense of what the car's trying to do underneath you because there's no G-force, there's no direction change, there's no momentum feel. You know, that inertia that we feel that slides us around in our car seats as we're out and on the road. That dive onto the front tires as you touch the brakes on a softly suspension road car, which, you know, a lot of suspension travel on them to make the ride comfort a lot better. These things, there's very little suspension travel. So you got to train yourself into that. Okay, I've lost that, but what do I have to get back? Well, one of the biggest benefits that we have in a race car, no helmets. We have headphones right on top of us. The biggest benefit, doesn't muffle anywhere near as much of the sounds. Which means that you get a little bit more of that tire noise back that we can hear in the broadcast and on cameras a lot of the time. You just can't hear that normally in the race car. So you got to feel it. That's what you make up for it with. how do I make up for the lack of sight? If you're on a single monitor, you can't see either side. Have a look at a lot of these corners around Road America. A lot of them are 90-degree corners. You want to see through, you want to pick up the exit. I talk about drivers getting their eyes up. Single monitors, you can't do that. Very, very difficult to wrap your car through head through the corner and look for where you're trying to go. How about this battle, though?
Closing up for 5th place, Christian Ruse continues to be on the hunt. Next on his list, number 9, Monster Energy Chevrolet of Chris Roberge, as Ruse tries to fight his way back up into the top 5. And as we continue to watch this battle, obviously situations somewhat different from the conclusion of stage 1 now to stage 2, with having this bit of breathing space between yourself and Dobbs. Does this change up when you come to pit road? We saw you go the extra lap past when the green and white checkered flag would have been. Is there a scenario now with having that bit of a gap between yourself and second place, you come down pit road, cross the start finish line at the conclusion of lap 24, or do you run that extra lap still?
You run that extra lap. You got to get to the end of 25. 3 points is the biggest thing. You can't afford to give up 3 points. And a bonus point for the playoffs.
Oh, Ruse with a lock up there.
More.
Saves it as he deja vu drifts into Canada corner. Normally that car is wrecked if you have a moment like that into a corner like that, but he was able to save it. He's also got a little bit of a crumple there on the right front fender. I'm not sure exactly where that came from. I don't think it was from that incident we just saw. He didn't make contact with anything. But that will not only lose him ground to Chris Roberge, that did no favors to those Goodyear tires.
Well, heat will be the big problem. He's now going to underdrive it for the next lap or so. Get them to come back to him.
As we near the conclusion of stage 2 here tonight, almost more than halfway through tonight's event here from Road America. Remind you that next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's the regular season finale as we will head back to the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, for our final race here to set the playoff field. 16 drivers will begin their road towards the championship, but they've got to make their way through the treacherous wild card superspeedway known as Daytona. Again, that's next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on FRN. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe it is nighttime Daytona. We ran the season opener in the daytime conditions. Going to be a little bit cooler, a little bit grippier. Cars will be maybe a little bit more shinier under those Daytona lights. It's going to have a nighttime big fight feel for sure. As some drivers will look to maybe win or point their way above the cut line, maybe pull a buzzer beater and get into the postseason.
That'd be huge. I think the critical thing is, Seth, we're going to have 16 drivers that make the limit in terms of that 75%. And that's the big one, is 16 drivers who hit the required number of races, which will be 19. I think that next week there's going to be a couple on 18, and that will be critical. They must show up next week. No, issuing kind of corner for Chris Hubker, I think. He just got it going.
Yeah, it's like he overdrove Canada corner there. It's just come back on the racing surface. You know, another thing that's going to be interesting, drivers that know that they're not going to meet the criteria to be able to battle for the playoffs, they're going to have the thought process of basically just bring home the trophy or the steering wheel, so they're going to be elbows up and willing to do whatever it takes to try and bring home a checkered flag, which is going to, I think, for a lot of those drivers that are down around that bubble, they're going to have to put that into their consideration as well. You know, I got a lot more to lose than those guys do. How far do I want to push it?
I mean, a win at the final race of the year, but to do that, you've got to have a car underneath you at the back end of the race, and I think that's actually a really, really important point that we'll probably be talking about. There'll be a lot of guys that'll see an opportunity to bank up an extra maybe a stage win. If you're already locked into the postseason, go grab your bonus points next week. The strategy and the way that you race will be to those stage numbers, will be to the race win number. It will not be about anything else. For those guys that are tied around that bubble, it will be bring the car home in one piece. Let the chaos ensue. And I believe there will be chaos next week as well. Don't forget Super Speedway's return to the fast repair too.
Yep, good point. We'll also see the return to the stage yellows, as well as we are on the final lap of stage number 2. Next time around near the start-finish line, green and white checkered flag would be displayed. Top 10 get the stage points handed out. Rankin looking to sweep the stages here at Road America, setting us up for the third and final stage. A little traffic to deal with there in the 32 of Matt Davies, who will run extremely wide there as they head into Kettle Bottoms. Davies now going to fall a second lap down with that pass. 6 drivers on the lead lap right now. 10 of our original 11 drivers still on the racetrack. Patrick McQuaid, the only driver currently behind the wall.
I guess you could say about McQuaid tonight, he's the muffled man.
Yeah.
Don't know how happy he's going to be about that one. There was a lot of discussion from a few drivers in the practice session of, I can't put laps together. Pat was in that group. Just couldn't get the car to stop. The biggest thing is, when you get out there and you do other racing within the iRacing platform, within the service, it's very, very difficult to come back and drive these things. The brakes being tiny, I cannot tell you how important that is. Because you put your foot on it. Normally at the ovals, we're going for bigger master cylinders. Effectively what a bigger master cylinder does in the brakes is it takes longer for that same amount of pressure to be applied to the brakes. So let's say I apply 50 kilos worth of force through my brake pedal with a, I think we're running 27-30 seconds on the front and 7/8 on the rear tonight. That effectively means with the bigger master cylinder at the rear, less of my brake pressure is going to the rear, more of it's going to the front. So if I apply 50 kilos worth of fresh pressure, it might split that 60-40, for example. But the other thing is, with the bigger master cylinders, is it actually takes pressure off the brakes. We've actually shrunk the master cylinders here tonight. So the biggest problem is, on all the ovals, you don't want a lot of brake pressure. You just want to touch it. You want to be smooth. So the bigger you go to the bigger master cylinders, because it allows you to apply the brakes more gradually. Come to a road course, you need all that braking performance, and you need it now. So you want a smaller master cylinder size so that you can get to your peak braking number a lot quicker and with a lot less force. So 50 kilos worth of force on a 1-inch cylinder size, as opposed to a half-inch cylinder size, means effectively I might see 50 kilograms of force on the half-inch size. It's probably not those numbers, but we're just using them to illustrate the point. And then when you move up to the 1-inch cylinder, you might only see 25 kilograms of that force being applied. If that sort of explains it nicely for you.
Got Jeff Kleinsma on pit road here from 4th place. Pretty much what you saw for the top 10, those remaining top 10 drivers. That's the order that the stage points were awarded here at the conclusion of stage 2. And now drivers set their sights on the checkered flag with, well, not only this upcoming pit stop for a number of drivers, aside from Kleinsma and Christian Roos are on pit road, but then another one that they'll have to make before the checkered flag waves. It's here Scott making his way back up to the start-finish line. Gonna put another lap on the board. Looks like we've got, thought I saw another car on pit road besides Christian Roos, but I believe he's the only driver currently occupying pit lane. Oh, nope, you are correct. Hupka coming in from 7th place. It's interesting talking about Patrick McQuaid. I remember we had this conversation with him during one of our post-race interviews where he said, I feel like I finished in just about every position inside of the top 10. He's yet to go to victory lane, and I believe he has yet to finish in 8th position here tonight, finishing in 11th. That's a position he has actually not finished in yet this season. So now if we're kind of extending out the window, there are 2 positions he has not finished inside of the top 12.
Do you finish 8th or 1st in the championship? Do you think that counts?
You mean in terms of points?
Well, I mean, at the end of the playoffs. Well, I mean, I'll take either. If we can complete that bingo card anyway,
if he gets a
I'll
winner
take
in
it.
8th before the end of the season, yeah, I'm counting the playoffs too.
Okay. Look, if he doesn't win a race all year long and he wins the championship, hell yeah, let's go with that.
Wouldn't be the first one to do it. Saw it happen in a super speedway series where a driver didn't win a single race the entire season, ended up winning the championship by 1 point.
Oof, you love those stories.
We may end up seeing a story like that culminate here in the next couple of weeks. Is tomorrow night going to be the final elimination race of the 65th season for the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. Sean Prime played playoff spoiler last week at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Nobody won their way into the Final Four, with him taking the checkered flag literally on fumes through the tri-oval. He'll get one more shot tomorrow night at Talladega Superspeedway. As 9 drivers entered into the second round of the playoffs, only 4 will be moving on for the final 2 races of the season to run for the championship. That's tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on FRN. As Rankin down to the attention of his crew. Alan Dobbs pitted a lap prior to that, as did Ryan Catalano, trying to make up some distance here on those new tires.
I do believe Alan Dobbs had a moment down at turn 3 on the current lap. Got a notification from the spotter saying that Dobbs was off in turn 3.
Take a look at that here, trying to get those tires up to temperature. There it is, down the hill to the right-hand third corner. Car just breaks loose off into the grass. Nowhere close to hitting that concrete barrier. Gets it refired and continues on. Is that just the trying to get too much with not a whole lot of grip in those fresh Goodyears?
I'm wondering whether or not he's been going back to first gear at that corner, and I'm wondering whether or not that might be a part of that.
Christian
Basically,
Ruse
looked like
with
it
an
snapped
off-track
around
moment.
right around a gear shift, so it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. And I think Chris just ran out a touch deep in the braking zone again.
I believe that was up the hill for turn 6, if I'm not mistaken. We saw him lock up the front tires in the early going of this race, that same area of the racetrack. No front lockup this time, but definitely overdrives the corner a bit there. Gets it back going though. Falls a lap down, as that was leader Scott Rankin making his way by, but exited the track in 6th, still remains in the 6th position.
Matt Davies just made me chuckle. Just jumped on the in-race radio. I said to him going through the carousel, he ran off track trying to get out of the way. Is that a car on pit lane? It is. That'll be Chris Roberge.
Yep, we've seen him play unorthodox strategy. Ran the longest of anybody here on this stint.
But Matt Davies was in the grass the last time I picked him off. Pit cycle comes through, pick him off again. And he just said, I get scared every time I see that front bumper. Gave me a good chuckle.
Is it good Charlotte or is it bad Charlotte?
Maybe he's got memories of listening to music he doesn't want to bring up. And I believe Dobbs' night's just gotten a little bit worse as well over in Canada Corner.
Gap now 35 seconds. As yeah, this actually happened back in Kettle Bottoms in preparation right here off this little crook. I believe he gets his left side tires off a little bit into the grass. And I was noticing a couple of drivers early on, they would kind of clip that little area there, that little jut out where the grass is on the inner portion of that right hand or that left-hand turn in preparation for Canada Corner. Would see some dirt kind of kicked up there, and watch here again, see on this angle, does he get off course just a bit? Maybe.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the most likely reason. I'm just not going to snap silent suddenly like that without scorching tires. So very, very likely. We spotted that one correctly.
And as Dobbs loses ground to the race lead, Ryan Catalano on those mistakes is starting to close up for the second position. Less than 8 seconds between himself and Dobbs. Looks like we're still waiting for Jonathan Cogswell to come to pit road here to complete this cycle. Same for Matt Davies. Cogswell's gone 13 laps. Davies is on his 12th lap here in this stint. So now begs the question that I was asking back in stage 1. You already had the number in mind. So are we splitting this final stage in half? Are we running it to the maximum that we can go? Are we coming to pit road as soon as the window opens? What was the strategy when we started this race, and has it stayed the same here for this final pit stop?
It has stayed the same, but across the journey, there was a little bit of mental games being played with what I wanted to do, just because I needed to do something with Dobbs with all the mistakes that I was making and the fuel strategy that we're trying to run. But the big strategy was always get to the end of the first stage, pit, get to the end of the second stage, pit, and then split the final stage. But the problem was, whatever Alan Dobbs was doing, I couldn't do exactly what he was doing. I had to offset him whilst he was in the picture. That now changes. I can do whatever I really want to. I'm thinking we might just run it long on this final stage now. Get fresh tires right at the back end, get a low fuel marker, and see what we can do in terms of that lap time.
Matt Davies has come to pit road. Still waiting on the 27 of Jonathan Cogswell. Mentioned that these pit stops were going to split the field up quite a bit. That certainly has done that. Aside from the less than 8 seconds between Dobbs and Ryan Catalano, the next gap is 15 seconds. That's from 6th back to 7th. So take the opportunity here to take you through the field of who is running where of the 10 remaining drivers in the running order here tonight. Scott Rankin started out in front from the pole position. It's in a couple of really good battles with Alan Dobbs there at the beginning of stage 1 and from the end of stage 1 into stage 2. Currently with a commanding 37+ second lead. Has not dropped any lower than second position. Has been in the conversation for the race win all night long. Alan Dobbs right now in the second position. We saw those couple of mistakes there as he had taken on those fresh tires, was trying to make something of them, had the moment in turn 3, followed up with a spin into the gravel trap in Canada corner. As you see, has also run no worse than the top 2 so far in this one. And Ryan Catalano been solidly in the podium all night long. He has been the mainstay holder of third position the entire race. Looking for his second top 5 on the season and his best finish, his first appearance on the podium. Jeffrey Kleinsma in the 4th spot. He and Catalano, they've traded that 3rd spot a couple of times, but it's mostly been during green flag pit stops. As he is, for the most part, held on to the 4th position in this race, searching for his first top 5 in 2025. And Chris Roberge, we saw him run long here on this stint, currently holding down the 5th position. Roberge, double checking with him, he is also looking for his first top 5 of 2025, and he's got a comfortable 25 seconds back to his nearest competitor, which would be currently the first car 1 lap down, though you saw Roberge has Rankin breathing down his back bumper there to put him off the lead lap. Rue's currently in the 6th position. Saw him have a couple of moments, specifically up here in this area, the uphill turn 6. Holding down a solid spot inside of the top 10. Chris Hubka back here just behind second place Alan Dobbs. He's been between 6th and 8th positions so far here tonight. We mentioned about the fact that he had the provisional last week, was not at Nashville Super Speedway, was below the playoff cut line going into Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago. He's cashed in on some stage points here this evening, currently holding down a spot in the top 10 in 7th. We'll have to see what his position looks like when we get to Daytona next week. Same deal for this driver, Rylan Faccianato. Currently in the 8th position. He was below the cut line coming into Indianapolis. It may still have been below the cut line coming into tonight's race. Another driver that's cashed in on some valuable stage points, and right now en route to finish in the top 10 in 8th. And the last driver in the race right now is going to be Jonathan Cogswell in 9th position. Started this race from last. He's gained 2 spots. Right now just trying to run all the laps that he can. He's got some damage there right on the Mustang logo on that front grille. Not sure if that was from getting off course or maybe running to the back of somebody, but right now he is the last car running, 2 laps down. I mentioned Patrick McQuaid out of the race early on in this one. He is now joined by Matt Davies. Davies just came to pit road a couple of laps ago. He'll finish in 10th. McQuaid will finish in 11th place this evening. So out of our 11 starters, 9 drivers still on the racetrack. And with Roberge getting put a lap down, only 4 drivers on the lead lap with less than 15 to go.
I gotta say though, this has been a challenging one. This is a tricky one. It's a long lap. You gotta remember, we're doing 130-second lap times around here. That is not insignificant. That's a lot of corners with braking markers, and the braking markers are set up for GT cars and prototypes and road course cars. They're not set up for these things. You actually have to go searching a little mark on the track to remember where to brake for a corner. And then the other thing to consider, Seth, as well, the grips actually come to us. The track temp has dropped significantly since the start of the race. Lap times of, I think, the fastest lap in the first stint was just barely into the 209s. I think it might have even been a 210. Or I got it down to the 208s a few months ago.
Yeah, I think one of the
So the grip is coming.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah, the grip is just coming to the racetrack. But then the tires overheat and they go off. So, you know, confidence on the brakes and consistency on the brakes is really, really difficult.
One of the things I love that we have access to is these in-car cameras, because to your point, when we look from the exterior of the race car, to the untrained eye, you watch the drivers making their way around, you look at these gaps from first to second, second to third, third to fourth, and you're just thinking to yourself, well, they're just out there logging laps, and that's not the case. As you say, the track is constantly changing, the tires, their temperature is constantly changing. I said that it's true. Every lap, the approach to a corner is vastly different than what it was just one lap prior. Drivers, it doesn't matter what position they're in, they are continuing to battle the combination of car and track, even if there may be nobody out the windshield or in the rearview mirror.
Next time by as well, we'll take an opportunity to walk everyone at home through a lap around Road America and Elkhart Lake. Just look at, you know, this blipping on the downshift. We talk about Shane Van Gisbergen's fancy footwork. Well, I wanted to get better at V8 supercars probably about 6-8 months ago. So I had to go and put a lot of work into working the pedals, how I apply the pedals, thinking about what I'm doing with the pedals. And you might actually hear me aggressively tap the throttle pedal on the downshifts. A little bit of a lift out to shift between the gears, but listen here. Big shift on weight now. And then as you can just see, the RPMs will skyrocket again just before a downshift. And that's to rev match. If you don't rev match, the car may fail to go into the gear on the downshift. When it's lower in the RPMs, it's a lot easier. The car will do it a lot more on its own. You don't necessarily need to give it as much support. But what does happen is you're going between a low torque gear and a high torque gear. And we talk about wheel hop quite a lot in the historical stuff, in the Xfinity cars and the trucks. These things not quite as much. But wheel hop is definitely a factor, and one of the ways that you manage it is by rev matching. And again, I'm going to apologize to viewers at home. I'm going to be giving instructions for an upcoming corner on this next lap. And there's about a second and a half delay. So you may hear me talk just a fraction ahead of what you're about to see in terms of the onboard footage. Very difficult for me to drive the race car and look at a second screen to commentate what I'm looking off, because my eyes are scanning constantly. Righto, out of the last corner, use all the road on the left-hand side, through the gears, shift it up, rise up the hill. This is actually a really cool moment. Up and over the crest of the hill. Cars get light the crest of the hill. You can't feel it in the sim. You would see it in the real world. You can see sometimes the cars hop a little bit. Now down here, we're looking for the pit lane exit cone on the right-hand side. There's a blue cone. That's my braking marker. Back through the gears, back to second gear. You want to be nice and accurate, park it on the curb. I've missed the apex there a fraction. That's actually not too bad. And again, just through the gears, gingerly trying to apply the throttle. Get it into the apex curb here, touching the curb on the inside. Curb's a little bit lower grip than the racetrack, but not too much. Still an advantage to putting the tires over there. Now we're gonna brake. A little bit of breath. Opportunity to have a sip of water if you got one available. I don't. And the coffee cup that's sitting next to me is empty. 5 marker at the crest of the hill here. We're gonna brake in a straight line to the exit of the racetrack all the way down and listen to how late I go back to first gear right before I want to get back to the throttle. Use all the exit curbs there. Really nice braking line. I'm actually quite happy. That's probably one of the better lines of run. Car hops about at the crest of the hill there as we get back to first gear. In at the curb. Can use all the curb on the right-hand side. Didn't need to that time, but I want to get all the way back to the left. Straighten up the exit. Use the curb on entry and on exit here. Make the track just a little bit wider. Braking at the 3 marker on the run down the hill. A downhill braking zone, so a little bit more technical than an uphill braking zone. And they're even, they've got nothing though on an uphill braking zone with a crescent, I'll tell you that much. Into the carousel. We'll drift in a little bit early, lift off in the middle of the corner, allow the car to rotate, start to build, throttle, build. Short shift to third, now I'm full throttle. And I had to build the throttle the whole way through that corner. Got just enough room to get up to fourth gear here. Back to third. We didn't make the apex curb there on the right-hand side. Use the left-hand side of the road. All the exit curb as well. You run the risk of dipping the tires in the dirt. Straight line the braking zone up here, which means you turn on the brakes. Basically, as soon as you get the wheel straight down here, you're on the brakes. Back to second gear, can use first if you're a touch slow, but you're going to struggle to put the power down in first gear. Curbs on the right, up to third, back to second. Tip it in, keep it on the curb on the left, a little bit of a bobble and a bounce, hit it quite awkwardly. There's a lot of bumps in the braking zone down here. You can hear the tires locking. Tip it in, all the exit curb yet again. At the end, what's this one going to be? This is going to be about a 2-minute 9.6 lap time. Might even be a 7. It's going to be a 7 actually after that. Didn't get a great shift. And that's a lap at Road America.
You know, something you talked about was the bumps. You know, I'm watching this car. You know, I remember what we end up seeing, the bumpy ride that the cars were taking at Sonoma, even back at the Chicago street course. Where does Road America rank in terms of like the smoothness of the ride? Because visibly, it doesn't look like you're dealing with quite nearly as much bumps as you were at some of those other racetracks, or are my eyes deceiving me?
You're right. Visibly, no. But what happens is when you get a smoother racetrack, you set the car up a lot stiffer. And when the car's stiffer, the bumps feel bigger because you've got nothing taking the weight of that impact. But a stiffer race car presses the tire into the surface a lot better and gives you a lot better peak grip. Whereas at Sonoma, you want to maintain consistent grip, so you have to soften the car off a little bit more. So you got to make those adjustments. But there is bumps. It's undulations. They're not necessarily bumps in a lot of the cases. On the exit entry of that last corner, there's right on the right-hand side of the road. You actually see I don't use all the road on the way down in there. And the reason for that is there's a bump right next to the curb on entry. If you bite that, the car will just shoot into the fence. So that's a risk that I'm managing by not doing that. But the other thing to consider as well that I actually didn't talk about is where I'm putting my eyes. All right, well, we're into an apex here, so my eyes are looking through. I'm trying to spot the exit curb so that I can adjust what I'm doing with the pedals with the throttle. Again, here, through these little kinks, I'm looking for my turn-in point to spot the braking. Okay, I'm at the braking. I'm looking for my turn-in point for the corner. So it's getting your eyes down the road, connecting those things through the corner. Exit, I'm looking for. And the reason that we do that is, and it's so critical, the faster you go, the further ahead you've got to look. And the reason for that is it slows time down. It's a lot easier. You might sit here and go, well, Scott, you're going really quick. You're right. But it's little psychological tricks so we can make things slow down a lot more. Get the eyes up, look further ahead, and then the brain will connect the pieces and sort of, you know, chain the corner together. If I'm looking at the entry right as I'm getting to it, I'm not looking at the exit. I'm not thinking about connecting the dots to the exit of the corner.
It's interesting you bring that up because it kind of reminds me back when I was taking driver ed. My driver ed teacher told me the further you look down the road, the more your brain is going to process you running between the lines you're supposed to. If you actually are looking more close in front of you, you're more likely to drift over on one shoulder or the other. So it's interesting you kind of talk about that, looking forward and the brain processing exactly all the information you need to be able to hit the corner when you're not even really looking specifically at the corner as you're making your way through it.
Yeah. I cannot tell you how important that all is as well. It just gives you more time to make decisions, but more importantly, it gives you more reaction time. If a mistake happens on the racetrack and you're only looking at the car directly ahead of you, you can't react in time. You're hitting that guy before you can make a reaction. Alan Dub's going to make his final pit stop. And this is a big key for driver safety out on the road as well. You're actually got to be looking, particularly on the highways, at cars 3 to 4 ahead of you for their brake lights. That's what you're trying to look through. And you'll make adjustments to that, to visibility. And the reason that we say slow down in the rain is for that exact reason. It's not for perfect driving conditions. When there's nobody around you, not a problem. You can see quite clearly, even in the heavy rain, it's actually not too bad. It's for the situations whereby you're around other cars, there's a little bit of spray getting picked up. That simulates quite an iRacing quite aggressively. So it is very, very difficult to see at anything over 100 miles an hour. You cannot see anything if there's cars around you. But more importantly, that it's to give yourself reaction time. You know, sim racing drivers have a better reaction time than the average person, and race car drivers have a better reaction time again. But even you listen to real world racing drivers and they say, hey, we don't take those risks out on the road because there's no need to. We've got trained reaction times. We don't need to take risks. And the other big reason that they don't do it is, well, they're paid a lot of money to go race car driving, and they're paid a lot of money for their body. They get injured, don't get paid to do that.
With Dobbs making that final pit stop here, window open to do so. Ryan Catalano moves into third. Jeffrey Kleinsma currently second rather, for Catalano. Kleinsma into third position. They will more than likely, their pit stop will give those spots back to Dobbs, who will try now to take advantage of those fresh Goodyears, as it was a 4-tire stop for the 35. We have had another driver retire before the conclusion of this one, Jonathan Cogswell. We saw him with that front end damage. It was multiple laps down in the 9th position. He came to pit road about 4 laps ago, and he brought his car back to the garage area where he will join Matt Davies and Patrick McQuaid. So we are left with 8 drivers still running to look to conclude this thing that is now at less than 10 laps to go.
It was a long haul. We've been in the sim for an hour and 18 minutes at the moment since the drop of the green flag. That doesn't include the formation lap. That's about another 4 minutes. You can add to it. That doesn't include the practice time. There was 15 minutes worth of qualifying today. I think I put 45 minutes worth of practice in, 15 minutes of qualifying. There's another hour. So I've been in the sim for 2.5 hours at this point. Just today. Prepare for this one.
So let's talk about another thing then, because I think we actually documented this back at Watkins Glen. We touched on it as well at Sonoma. Fatigue. How much does that play a part into it here? Obviously, there's no let up. There's no stage cautions here for you to be able to catch your breath, be able to kind of gather your thoughts. We ran 36, and we're more than likely going to run these final 9 laps completely under the green flag. Only opportunity you really maybe have a chance for a little bit of a respite is when you come to pit road for a pit stop. What does this racetrack do with all the work we've talked about that you're putting into it, fighting the race car, fighting the track conditions, having to go up and down through the gears? How is that both mentally and physically causing fatigue for the drivers?
Oh, it's very fatiguing. It's insanely fatiguing. The biggest benefit that we get here over Sonoma and Watkins Glen is the length of the front and back straight. We actually get a break. I actually took my right hand because, again, I'm nursing an injury, right? So took my right hand off the steering wheel, as I think that's Faccionato rolling off a pit lane for his final stop of the day. But I'm nursing an injury, so I want every opportunity to take a break. When you look at Sonoma, you don't get a break around Sonoma. It is the entire length of the race. You are not taking a breath. It's pacing. That's it. And for what we do here, we don't run those full course yellows like Sonoma. Watkins Glen's a little bit better. There is a couple straights, but they're short. You do get an opportunity to take a breath where you're actually not focusing on things. But I actually find those racetracks a little bit easier to focus on sometimes because you don't get that breath. You're constantly going, which means the brain doesn't get the opportunity to switch off. The amount of mistakes I've made from just switching off today is ridiculous. You know, I'm not happy with it. It's one of those things that I'll go away with and be a little bit annoyed with, even though, you know, we're in a strong position. You shouldn't be doing that to be at the level that I'm at. So, you know.
There's a little right rear lockup there for Jeffrey Kleinsma. Almost an off-track moment there in Canada Corner. And I believe, yep, he's going to come up the hill here, up the access road, and he'll be coming to the attention of his crew for his final pit stop of the night. Dobbs moving on by him. So that will move Dobbs back into the 3rd spot. Chris Hubka has also come to pit road for his final stop of the evening. So if I'm doing the math correctly here, multiplying 13 laps by 3, we're about, what, 3 laps away from making that final stop?
We got 2.4 laps worth of gas left. We got 2.4 gallons left. It's about a gallon a lap around here.
Alan Dobbs just ran his fastest lap of the race. 209.652, second fastest overall this evening to Rankin's 208.814. And he will more than likely, once the 92 of Ryan Catalano comes to pit road, he will bypass him to move back into 2nd place. But right now, tracking a minute and 20 seconds behind the race leader. Granted, Rankin still has to come to pit road for his final pit stop of the night, as does Catalano, Chris Roberge, and Christian Ruse. Chris Hubka, who's already made his pit stop, going to yield to the race leader, goes a 2nd lap down, currently in the 7th position. Again, a reminder to everybody, next week is the regular season finale. We had a thriller of a finish in the season opener at Daytona. It will play its part bookending the regular season, as we'll be under the lights for the regular season finale. And when the checkered flag waves, 16 drivers will begin their journey in the postseason, as they will look to run for the 2025 Grind Cup Series Championship. And, you know, looking ahead at racetracks they're going to have to deal with, there is no let up. We kick things off with the 1.5 mile Chicagoland Speedway. Short track racing under the lights at Iowa. Then another night race, another short track, the Concrete Coliseum at Bristol. That is going to be our final Dash for Cash race as well here in 2025. Then we go to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. If I'm not mistaken, I'll have to double check, but I believe that is Atlanta Super Speedway. Yes, actually it is. So 2 super speedways that are going to be in the playoffs. Then we go to our final road course stop of 2025, as we'll be in the infield of the Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Roval course. Auto Club Speedway nighttime racing will be the next on tap, the 2 mile speedway / super speedway. Saw an incredible race at its sister track, Michigan, earlier on this season. Then we're in the desert at Phoenix. The paperclip short track of Martinsville begins the month of October. Then we go to the high banks of Talladega Super Speedway, and that will set the table for the championship battle, as we will be under the lights at the Homestead Miami Speedway, the 1.5 mile racetrack that has crowned champions for numerous years. Will be the venue where one driver will hoist the championship trophy here in 2025 and claim Grind Cup Series champion. That's all the playoff races that drivers are going to have to prepare themselves for, but you gotta get through Daytona first.
Yep. There's some really, really good racetracks in there. Chicagoland, love Chicagoland, love Auto Club. Those are my 2 favorite racetracks in the sim. Brilliant races. Those are going to be, I reckon, there's going to be a few dramas at Chicagoland.
Got those 2 super speedways there with Atlanta Super Speedway, now known as Echo Park Speedway, and Talladega. And then, you know, kind of consider, in a sense, you've got Iowa, you've got Bristol, you've got Martinsville. They're all short tracks. And Phoenix, while it's not really a short track. It races like a short track. Very flat corners, heavy braking into those corners. So in a sense, in terms of racing style, 4 short tracks that drivers are going to have to deal with in the playoffs.
I mean, I like Phoenix. I just don't think Phoenix makes a great championship race. I got to be honest. Like it's a difficult one. I hate the fact that we go to Phoenix in the real world and guys exit the championship race because the brakes are blowing up. You know, that shouldn't be something that should be limited to. We should have a better brake package, better brake cooling available to us to go to Phoenix. So I much prefer Miami. I think Miami makes a better storyline. So that's a personal preference.
No, you are not alone in that opinion. I'm with you on that. Especially now where the mile-and-a-half program with the next-gen cars has been incredible. I mean, I know there's no way it would ever happen because I don't think there's enough of a population for it to be worthwhile, but you know, Chicagoland or Kansas, I could easily see any of those racetracks also being in the conversation for the finale, but Homestead, another of those mile-and-a-half racetracks, absolutely. Especially with what we've seen out of the next-gen package, has to be where the championship is decided.
I'm really curious about NASCAR racing return to Chicagoland as well. They're working on that track, I believe, to bring it back up to spec. I mean, there's been such great work being done with North Wilkesboro. As much as I hate North Wilkesboro, I think, you know, reviving that racetrack's done a lot for the community as well, done a lot for the sport. And it also says about the future of racing, and it says that people want to invest in these kinds of projects, which is a really, really good thing for the sport. That's such a huge statement for the sport. With actually just news just starting to come out of a new racetrack popping up a couple of hours away from me, which I definitely did not think we were getting. But the goal of that racetrack is actually ride days and fun. It's not necessarily racing. It's, you know, to get the community somewhere else to go racing, to go rolling with their street-bound cars, to, you know, take racing off the streets, which I think is huge.
You've already given your opinion on the Chicago street course from a personal preference. What are your thoughts on us having a road course on a naval base in San Diego?
I don't know. I mean, the course structure looks good.
It does.
The opportunity is, if the track's wide enough to allow racing, like the biggest issue with Chicago is that it's just too narrow. Like, a street course is cool, but it's too much of a street course, realistically. That's my issue with it. It's got a lot of the elements, like, it's tights racing. I also don't like Detroit Belle Isle, I gotta say. I'm really, really glad that they've tried to move that racetrack, but where they're going in the future of racing's not been great for anyone involved. They're going to racetracks that shouldn't have races with those style of cars in them. Yes, they are a challenge, but what does the sport gain? What does the sport lose by having a race in downtown Michigan? There always must be a cost that you've got to pay to move a racetrack there, and it's at, even have a look at Formula One with the venues that we're losing access to as a result of wanting more street course racing on the schedule.
Yeah. I think it's more looking at the per capita than anything.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Fortunately, a lot of your really good racetracks, they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
100%. You got to travel to them.
After everybody has completed their final pit stop of the night, and we are at less than 5 laps to go here this evening from Road America, gap maintains just a little under 40 seconds from first back to second, another 18 seconds from second back to third, then another 35 seconds back from third to fourth position. Really doesn't look like there's going to be any close battles here in the closing stages. Now it's a matter of just keeping all 4 wheels on the racing surface and bringing the thing home in one piece. Rylan Faccianato can add him to the list of drivers that is not going to reach the conclusion. He's going to join Jonathan Cogswell, Matt Davies, and Patrick McQuaid in the garage area. 8th position is where he will finish out this race, leaving us with 7 drivers. 4 of them on the lead lap right now. And that last car on the lead lap, Jeff Kleinsma, really in no danger of losing a lap. He is currently being scored roughly 50 seconds ahead of the race leader. So it looks like more than likely we will have a total of 4 drivers on the lead lap when the checkered flag waves.
Just going to see how fast we can get this lap time to go, Seth. Optimal time's down to a 2:08.2. I reckon there's a 7 in the racetrack, but it's going to take a big lap.
It's going to be a big points night for drivers like Catalano and Kleinsma. It's going to be the best finish of 2025 for the 92 car. First top 5 finish for both the 15 and the 9 of Kleinsma and
Oh, Alan Dobbs has
Roberge.
just had a moment.
Making his way, that was out of Canada corner, it looks like. And it was in Canada corner. Coming up on Chris Roberge. Ooh, makes contact with that concrete barrier there just at the entry to the corner. That will be some damage on the nose of the treetop Toyota Camry. Let's get another look here. You talked about timing. We saw him have an issue down in this corner earlier. May have been, well, almost kind of the same deal we saw him when he got his left sides off into the grass. It looked like he may have done the same thing right there again, and it snapped his car loose.
Also worthwhile pointing out, Ryan Catalano is not too far behind him. So if he's got damage to the end of the race, every opportunity for Catalano to see if he can't make some gains.
Yeah, something we didn't talk a lot about. I know you touched on, the aerodynamics of the race car as far as dirty air when you're racing somebody, but especially with these long straights, if you've got damage like that, how does that affect the overall speed of a race car?
Yeah, there is a gain, there is a loss, so you can't just press on. You will be slower in a race in a fast straight line, but it's not as much as you think. I think the bigger loss is actually going to be through the corners and figuring out what kind of race car you have. Because if you have a car that's damaged on the left-hand side, well, it's not going to be too much of an issue through the left-hand corners, but the right-hand corners, that's where it's going to be a lot of an issue.
Three laps to go here, a little more than 12 miles left to make for Scott Rankin. At this point in time, too, we've already talked about the fatigue, but just how long do these laps seem as you're trying to get around there and see that white flag in the flag stand?
Well, I'm having fun. We're out here trying to set for personal fastest lap times because the track's the coldest it's been all night. I'm having fun just going as hard as I can. Nope. That ain't it. Too deep there. Missed the apex. I'll lose all that time, so we'll spend the rest of the lap cooling these tires off, see what we can do next lap.
Now that previous lap there, crossing the stripe, coming to 3 laps to go, did indeed set personal best and fastest lap of the race, 2:08.548. Opening up the gap even more there after the miscue by Alan Dobbs down in Canada corner. What was about 40 seconds now has opened up to nearly 50 seconds from first back to second position. Still right now, closest battle is 25 seconds in distance, so pretty much at this point in time, unless something catastrophic happens to any of the 7 remaining drivers, they are pretty much going to finish in the spots that they are currently scored.
Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Ryan Catalano's actually been able to make much ground. So that was a huge opportunity. If Alan Dobbs had made an issue, Catalano would have had a huge opportunity to step forward in second place.
Yeah, that previous lap, 1.2 seconds slower was Catalano to Dobbs. Dobbs with 8-lap old tires, Catalano with only 4-lap old tires, but able to maintain the gap right now of a little under 15 seconds. 2 laps remaining, 28 corners left to traverse for the number 61 Good Charlotte Toyota Camry. One more time around and the white flag will be displayed here at Road America. Rankin looking for his 2nd straight victory in a road course start. Picked up the checkered flag back at the last road course in Napa Valley, over on the West Coast, at the Infineon Raceway, or Sonoma, or Sears Point, for you old school fans. And now looking to win here up north in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. It's been nagging at me this whole race. I'm pretty sure back during the pre-race, I'm pretty sure I said that Elkhart Lake was in Michigan, and oh boy.
Wisconsin, I believe.
It is, but I think I said back at the very beginning, I think I said it was Michigan, and it's been nagging me. Don't come at me, Wolverines.
But it's right on the Great Lakes district, in and around. Look, I don't know my American geography. I gotta be honest. I barely know the East Coast from the West
That's okay.
Coast.
I don't know my American geography either, so we're in the same boat. And it's worse for me because I live here. Wherever my
Best part about
GPS says
Australia.
something is where it is.
Yeah. Best part about Australia? There's only 7 states and territories, I think. I can never get that right. I think it's 6 states and 2 territories. It might be 6 states and 2 territories. There you go. I can't even get my own geography right.
I was going to say, I'm going to take your word for it. Final turn up the hill here off of 14. Makes the ascent up to the start-finish line. Flagman has the white flag in hand. One more lap here at Road America for Scott Rankin. We're going to pick up his second win of the 2025 season. Handily 45-plus second gap. Back to Alan Dobbs. Ryan Catalano solidly in the 3rd position. Looking for his first podium of the season. Stay tuned. After the checkered flag waves, we'll show you the finishing results. We'll be talking with our podium finishers here tonight as drivers will gear up and gird themselves in preparation for next week at the high banks of Daytona International Speedway for our regular season finale. The playoffs are nearly close to being assembled. "45 green flag laps here tonight. No cautions for stages. 3 trips to pit road for all of these drivers as well. Some drivers have had some off-track moments, have been able to come back from it. Other drivers not able to reach the conclusion. It will be very interesting to see, once all the points are calculated at the conclusion of this one, what do the playoff scenarios look like? Who is in? Who is out? Who could point their way in next week? Who needs to win their way in next week at the wild card track of Daytona? Into Canada corner one last time. Rankin makes the pass on Chris Hubka. Up through the S's. The left-hander of 13. The right-hander of 14. One more time to climb the hill. Looking at the crest for that flag stand, where the checkered flag will be waving over the hood of his Toyota Camry. Scott Rankin, second win on the season as he'll take the checkers here this evening at Elkhart Lake.
Frustrating. We got a 1x in the last corner. We would have made that a 2:08.5 to finish it. Lap time doesn't count. Actually, they're a little bit 2:08.3. Pushing hard, pushing margins. That's a tough track. I think to anyone that made the finish line here, and there's not a heap of us, but Road America's a tough track. It's a little bit low grip. Car doesn't want to turn sometimes when you get in hot. So anyone who did make the conclusion.
Alan Dobbs just now making his way up the hill, going to cross the line in second place. Cashed in on some valuable stage points here tonight as he continues to extend his points lead. Going to undoubtedly be taking the regular season championship regardless of what happens next week at Daytona with his 7 victories and multiple stage wins. And how about Ryan Catalano? His first podium finish of 2025. Going to take place here at the winding road course of Road America.
Drove a clean race. I think the big thing is mistakes, and there was a lot of mistakes tonight. And it was just about keeping your car clean. Kleinsman will be quite happy with a P4 finish as well. Like, Catalano's going to be very, very happy about his first podium of the season. Comes to a road course too, so sometimes drivers sit down and go, oh, get a little bit lucky. But the thing is, you got to work harder at a road course. There's more braking zones. There's more mistakes you can make. And Jeff Kleinsman, everyone should be happy with their performances here tonight.
Yeah, for Catalano, his first podium. Kleinsma will net his first top 5 as he crosses the line in 4th place. And I believe Chris Roberge has already taken the checkered flag. First car 1 lap down. He's going to get his first top 5 of the season as he'll bring it home in the 5th position. Christian Ruse in 6th and Chris Hupke in 7th. Going to be the last of those drivers that soldiered on and finished out this race to receive the checkered flag.
Worst part is, Seth, I just said, it's my right shoulder that's sore. Guess which arm I immediately tried to pump in the victory.
It was back in the middle of June. Scott Rankin burned it down for his first victory on the season. And here at the close of the month of July, he will add a second road course victory to his resume as he takes Road America here tonight, sweeps the stages, and becomes, I believe, only the 6th multi-time winner on the season here in 2025. Take a look at the finishing results from this one. We pretty much gave you the rundown there as we watched drivers making their way back to the start-finish line and the checkered flag. Only 11 drivers taking the green flag in this one here this evening. Rankin with the win, Dobbs in 2nd, Catalano in 3rd. Toyotas will sweep the podium here tonight. Kleinsma will be the highest finishing Chevrolet in 4th, with Roberge behind him in 5th. Christian Ruse in 6th and Hupke in 7th. So 3 Toyotas, 4 Chevrolets were the last drivers running. Rylan Facciano, first driver out of the race, will get 8th. Cogswell, who was, I believe, the only Ford in the field tonight, will get 9th. Matt Davies brings it home in 10th, and bringing it home in 11th place, the first driver out of the race, Patrick McQuaid. Scott does some further burnouts underneath the Sargento Cheese Bridge, and that will take us into our FRN post-race wind-down as we get ready to talk with the podium finishers here this evening from Road America. See if we can get a hold of the driver that brought it home in P3. His first podium of 2025. Let's dial up Ryan Catalano.
I want to race
Hey
it.
Ryan, it's Scott and Seth up here in the FRN booth. You got us?
Hey guys, what's going on?
Well, man, first off, congratulations. Your best finish of 2025. First time we get to talk to you on the podium. Your second top 5 on the season, but we talked about all the facets, all the things that could go wrong at a racetrack like this, and the big word we stressed was execution in so many different ways, whether it was on pit road or just keeping the car on the racetrack, running all the laps. You checked every single one of those boxes here tonight. Another thing we documented as well, though, even if you didn't have somebody to race, you were constantly battling the track and the car. What was it like for you here this evening?
Yeah, this track is a lot of fun to race. I mean, I grew up playing video games, racing this all the time from Forza and everything else. So, Road America is good with those kind of cars. Obviously, GT3 is never like a next-gen car, but yeah, it was a lot of fun out there. Definitely a very challenging track because of the high-speed corners and everything like that. And the braking points are just huge. I mean, you mess up by a couple of feet and you're going through the corner. It's very technical.
A few weeks ago, we talked about you trying to make your way into the playoff grid. Now, fast forward to where we're at, you're pretty comfortably in on points. We know that next week Daytona is a wild card racetrack, but kind of putting that to the side here for a minute, getting a run like this here tonight, what does this do for you in terms of momentum looking ahead towards the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great momentum builder. I mean, I feel like I've been close so many weeks, just a couple errors here or there. I was running really well at Indy and made a mistake, but a lot of self-inflicted errors. So, but yeah, down the stretch, I'd say like these last 10, 12 races, I've just been consistently just picking up the pace, being a lot cleaner, racing cleaner as much, and just hitting my marks. And I think the hard work's been showing off. I've been putting in a lot of time, a lot of practice laps to kind of get where I'm at. But yeah, I'm looking forward to where I'm at, and that was the goal when I joined the league, was to make the round of the playoffs, and I think I'm pretty much there.
I think the big thing here is, we look at Road America and probably a better read heading into the one road course race that we got left to us in the playoffs is the Charlotte Roval. I mean, do you take anything from the pace here tonight? Obviously, numbers are a little bit lower at the back end. It's a road course race. It's not one that we regularly run, but the Charlotte Road Course, that is a race that we regularly run. The biggest thing I'm looking around and I'm going is, hey, this car was tough to drive tonight. What's it going to be like when we get to the Roval? Given those walls, it's nearly feels like a street circuit at times.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one. I mean, personally, I have a lot of the road courses scheduled. I mean, just like I said, my background before I even came by racing, that's all I raced was like JT3 stuff. So I have a definite familiarity with that. But yeah, Roval's a challenging track. I'm wondering too, because there is a lot of high speed corners similar to what we had here at Road America. But yeah, it's a tough car to drive tonight. I was on the edge of my seat literally every lap. I mean, a few laps I was coasting towards the end there, but I was racing the track as hard as I could just to see what kind of lap times. I saw you were doing the same thing, Scott. So kudos to that. But yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities to going into that Roval that I feel pretty confident I can get a pretty solid finish in the playoffs at that race when it comes up.
But we went over those racetracks that are going to be in the playoffs, a lot of tough ones that you guys are going to have to make your way through, but able to lock yourself in here on points. You add to that here tonight, pad that cushion with the wild card race of Daytona coming up. Congratulations on your best finish of the season, bringing it home solidly on the podium here tonight. Before we let you go, Ryan, the floor is yours for thank you sponsors and shoutouts.
Yeah, well, obviously the biggest shout out is going to be to myself. I mean, you guys know from the All-Star race in Charlotte there that I run and own my own small hot sauce company out of my house here with the garden. So gonna shout it out to topitoffsauce.com. We got hot sauces, seasonings, and probably some of the best stuff you can get if you like homemade stuff. So gonna shout it out to that business. So yeah, check us out. Let us know. We have 6 different flavors and 6 different seasonings. So definitely help us out and show your support. Thanks, guys.
I think
Ryan
next step, 6 different podiums.
What was that?
I think the only next step is 6 different podiums.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I'm glad to be up here, and I was a little disappointed that it's taken this long, but I finally got here, so appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Absolutely. Ryan Catalano, third place here tonight after a grueling one at Road America. He'll look to ride this momentum into next week at Daytona and certainly into the playoffs as well. Let's get a hold of the driver that brought it home. Second place here tonight, Alan Dobbs. Hey, Alan, Scott and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Man, difficult racetrack here tonight. Had a strong machine, was able to keep it in second place despite a couple of issues in a couple sections of this racetrack here this evening. Was it just a matter of the track not cooperating, the car not cooperating, the tires not cooperating? Because we had like a checklist here of all the different things that can go wrong at this particular venue.
Yeah, I mean it was definitely a struggle. I mean, we ain't raced here in 2 years in real life, so the setup is anything but optimized. But I mean, I feel like we had a really good run all the way up until kind of had to take a shallow line coming off the final corner under a lap car, and just wasn't expecting how loose it was going to be, and lost touch with Scott. And once I get on an island by myself like that, it's basically like I'm just doing a bunch of practice laps by myself, and I I just lose focus because I'm just bored, to be honest. I prefer running near somebody, having somebody to, kind of work to be faster than or something, just have something to go off of. And yeah, once I lost him, it was just, eh, couldn't keep focused. That's all it was.
Well, something that we also documented here was, drivers, their preparation for the playoffs. Scott brought up the fact that there's really only one other road course that we're going to be going to, the Charlotte Roval, during the course of the playoffs there. So, you know, are there any like similarities from here that you can maybe apply to that racetrack, or are there like some other racetracks that you're gearing up for there? Because we obviously have Daytona coming up next week, but that's a wild card racetrack. A lot of positioning, a little bit of luck has to kind of come into play. Are you already focused towards the postseason here, already looking past Daytona, or are you looking at Daytona as an opportunity to maybe go into the playoffs as an 8-time winner?
Um, no, I think I'm definitely looking forward more to the playoffs. I feel like Daytona is kind of that race, that last wild card chance for someone to make it in on a win that might not normally be able to run up front. People get super aggressive, and I do have a good team. I'm sure that we're going to work together as much as possible to make Daytona as good for us as we can. But I can't go into Daytona expecting a win. If I just get a good finish, have a good time, not get caught up in a wreck early or something, I'll be fine with that. And we'll go into the playoffs with almost a first round bye, to be honest. I mean, as many playoff points as we have currently, it's going to be real hard to knock us out of the first round. So really looking forward to the second round and having to focus in, trying to just keep the momentum through the first round, not let it slip away, and then really go to work second round forward.
I think the big thing is there probably any track in that playoffs that you look at and you go, hey, this is probably one of those ones that's going to be a challenge. I know we got Atlanta in there. I believe we said we got Talladega in the playoffs as well. We got Chicagoland. There's the Charlotte Roval. Is there anywhere in there that you sit down and go, I've got to just make sure I finish this race?
Yeah, definitely 100% Atlanta and Talladega. I feel like those are the two main ones where you can really have a bad day and you didn't do anything wrong. So yeah, getting through those two races, I think, are really the main focus as far as just preserving our chances in the Final Four. I'm not sure what round those races come up in, but if they're in the first round, I'm not as worried about them. But second round forward, yeah, they'll definitely be on my mind.
To answer your question, Atlanta's going to be in the second round. Talladega is actually the last race of the last round, the elimination round, to set the Final Four. So
Yeah,
pretty
so they're
deep there
very
in the playoff
very
schedule.
sketchy races. Yeah, so they'll definitely be weighing on my mind. Trying to just survive those, and don't necessarily have to get out of there with a win. Just got to get out of there.
Well, Alan, congratulations on the great run here tonight. Fell no further than second place this evening. Bring it home with some more stage points as well, and some good momentum here to close out the regular season with one race left to go at Daytona. Before we let you go, floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Yeah, just shout out to my lovely wife as always. All the guys that didn't show up tonight on Whitehead Racing. All the admins, you guys for the broadcast, everybody watching. Appreciate all y'all.
Alan Dobbs, second place here tonight in the final road course of the regular season here at Road America. Congratulations on the great run. Best of luck next week in the regular season finale at the World Center of Racing.
All right, thanks, buddy. Y'all have a good one.
Well, after you could kind of hear it in the voices. I heard it out of you as well. You can just hear the physical exhaustion of what you drivers had to deal with here tonight. 45 grueling, no let-up laps at the twists and turns, the elevation changes, the heavy braking zones of Road America. Next week for these drivers, though, there's not going to be a whole lot of let up either. It is pedal down, hold it wide open, try and find your teammates. I mean, it's kind of almost a rhetorical question in a way. Like, what can we expect from next week? Because as Alan said, there are drivers that are going to be in scenarios that they could win their way into the playoffs. We're going to see a balance of drivers just looking to survive, knowing that they're locked in, drivers looking to be aggressive, knowing that they're locked in, drivers being aggressive, knowing they're not locked in. I mean, when all of those different agendas come together at a super speedway, normally it ends up meaning bad news for not just one, but maybe multiple drivers if that dreaded big one strikes.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. From the race perspective, but the big ticket is going to be put the points on the board. If you're in, I'm just pulling up the league standings pages, which has already been updated after the race here tonight. You've got myself, who after tonight's race gets to 16 race starts. I'm not eligible. I need 19 after missing last week. There's one provisional that puts me to 17. A race next week that gets me to 18. I can't get there. Mark Gonzalez. I'm just gonna have a quick look at the provisional requests. Gonzalez has not put in for a provisional request, so I believe he's eligible for the playoffs as well. So after that, you've got Roberge and Brandon Cooper, who are both on 18. Both will need to attend. Cooper took a provisional tonight. He'll actually be okay. But Roberge was out there. He needs to race next week, and if he does, he'll make it in. Matt Metler is at 21 starts. He's eligible, but he's outside the cut zone. But remember, we've already talked about there's 2 drivers on the inside the playoffs that won't make it, which means he's the cutoff driver. And in terms of eligibility, Mark Gilbert was the only other driver heading into tonight that potentially could make it in terms of playoff standings. Didn't use a provisional. He's not eligible as well. So your 16 are going to be the 16 eligible drivers plus Tom Bourne is going to be the drivers. So it'll be Dobbs, Jackson McQuaid, Whitehead, Trey Whitehead, Jonathan Cogswell, Christian Roos, Dalton McKenney, Jeffrey Kleinsma, Ryan Catalano, Matt Davies, Peyton Holland, Chris Hubka, Chris Roberge, and Brandon Cooper, pending them both attending next week. Rylan Facinato and Matt Metler are going to be your 16. Those 16 cannot change, and then Tom Bourne gets the gift of the winning in from the Charlotte All-Star race as well. So that will be your 17 playoff drivers.
It's interesting too because I kind of look at some of those names that you listed off, and I look at our 2 previous super speedway races. Christian Roos finished top 10, 7th place at Talladega. Both Peyton Holland and Dalton McKenney finished in the top 10 in both those super speedway races. These are drivers. Patrick McQuaid finished 5th here at Daytona. These are drivers that are locked in on points. How aggressive are they going to be going into that race to see if they can maybe end out the season with a victory, because a victory means playoff points. Right now, if I'm not mistaken, with these drivers having zeros in the win column, they're going to be heading in some of the lower seeds when everything is reformatted here. If they're able to pick up a victory here, get some valuable playoff points towards that reformat, is that an incentive for them to go out there with kind of almost the devil may care attitude of bring home the steering wheel or bring home the checkered flag if they find themselves in such a position late in that race?
Yeah, I mean, it changes your decision making. At the end of the day, with everyone heading in next week and knowing that they're locked in or they're not locked in, it just means at the end of the day, you race with freedom. It's actually nearly a freeing super speedway race because it's a one-off race. It means about the only thing you can do is get yourself bonus points. So you're going to race it differently. You're probably going to race a little bit more aggressive. I would see it as a learning race, a focus race for Talladega. But at the same time, if I'm looking to take out a championship, I need to pick points away. I need to give myself buffer room, and that'll be the goal. Everyone next week will be thinking stage points. Everybody next week will be looking stage win. They will not be thinking second on the stage. Second doesn't matter on the stage. Second on the racetrack at the end of the race does not matter. It'll be win, 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 win. And that's free.
Should be an interesting one with those scenarios going into next week's regular season finale. Scott, congratulations, your 2nd victory of the season here, taking it home here at Road America. I know that you were racing sore, still dealing with that injury from last week, but hey, soldiered on, able to bring the checkered flag home. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much, Seth. I want to say a big shout out to you as well. You make this fun to come and do each and every week, and even when I'm in a little bit of pain, even when the pain meds are trying to kick in and keep me on the sim, keep me racing. You know, at the end of the day, we go racing because we're passionate, because we love it, because it's a fun sport. If it wasn't fun, we wouldn't be here. And I think the fans at home recognize the amount of fun that we get to have with things up here in the booth as well. I cannot tell you the amount of fun that Seth and I get to have here each and every week.
Absolutely. We appreciate everybody joining us here tonight for this one at Road America. Again, join us next Wednesday night, 9 p.m.
One
Eastern
final
Standard
shout-out,
Time.
Seth.
Go ahead. Yep.
I do want to say a shout out to Matthew Rodriguez, and I do hope he is
Yes.
sitting here and still listening to this one. And to everyone that's in and around the series that don't know Matthew Rodriguez and would have seen him out there racing a couple times, Matt Rod is an incredibly busy man. He has had a significantly tough last year. Unfortunately, he has had some significant health issues over the last couple of days. He was home. I got an opportunity to talk to him yesterday, but unfortunately back in the hospital at the moment. So I think from everyone in this series, we say out to Matt, it's a pleasure to work with you on the opportunities that we have. We hope that you look after yourself, and we hope to see you back here and in better spirits soon as well. And damn it, look after yourself, Matt. God damn it, look after yourself. Please look after yourself. You're too good a guy. He's such a good guy, Matt. He's brilliant to spend time with. Matt's been through all the trials and tribulations I've been through in the last 12 months as well. Matt's actually been a source of inspiration to me and kept me wanting to commentate and do bits and pieces. So I cannot say thank you enough to him.
Yep. I echo every syllable. Matt's been a tremendous friend to me. We go back further than I can even remember. Had the opportunity to be able to officiate his wedding down in New Orleans. I mean, incredible guy. Yes, take care of yourself. We look forward to seeing you getting back here, whether it be in the booth, on the racetrack, but not too soon. Do not rush it, my guy. Yeah, tremendous shout out and our thoughts and prayers going to Matthew Rodriguez as he hopefully will have a speedy recovery. Thank you to everybody for tuning to our coverage here tonight. We'll see you next Wednesday night here as we get ready to cap off the regular season for the Esports Oval League's Grind Cup Series for the year 2025 and start to look ahead towards the playoffs. Join us tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, as we'll be continuing on the playoffs for the Royal Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. It's the final elimination race to set the final 4 in our final race of 9. But until then, or next week, whenever you tune in, for Scott Rankin, I'm Seth Cole. We'll see you guys next time as you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.